our civilization has developed a wide variety of methods of transporting goods and people all over the world. We are now witnessing man's first mode of transportation, walking. Through the ages, this has been man's staple form of local transport. It was not long before man, dissatisfied with this method of personal transport, enlisted the aid of the animal kingdom for his needs, learning to train horses both for riding and the drawing of wheeled vehicles. By the turn of the 20th century, man had developed other methods of local transportation. Our cities then saw the advent of the tramcar, first horse-drawn and later powered by electricity, and most of the large towns of Britain became lined with their tracks. From the tram was developed the trackless tram, better known as the trolleybus, an ordinary road vehicle powered by electricity from overhead wires. But these, of course, are purely for local transport. One of man's oldest inventions for long-distance transport was the boat. Today, boats of all kinds ply the oceans of the world. The canals are a very important feature in the history of long-distance overland transport in Britain. They made available the easy carriage of goods in bulk over great distances at small cost before the days when they could be carried on the roads. Long tendrils of steel began to stretch out far and wide throughout the country. In the early 1800s, George Stephenson built the Stockton and Darlington Railway, and the age of the iron horse was with us, the dawn of the railway age. A great new era in transport was born. Now man could travel with speed and in comfort over long distances. Steam has now almost disappeared from our railways. Diesel and electric locomotives now carry on the old tradition. With the advent of the railways, a new form of architecture was brought to the countryside. Imposing stations were built and sturdy bridges. The railways also brought with them a new way of life. They brought the age of the commuter, people able to live long distances from their work. The trains gave them the ability to travel back and forth daily. Passengers and goods are not the only customers of the railways. Most of Britain's intercity mail is also handled by the railways. regular decline. Disused lines, derelict stations. What could cause such a decline in so vast a system as the railways of Great Britain? About the turn of the century, the internal combustion engine arrived on the scene. Noisy and very troublesome at first, but after years of development became a formidable competitor with the railways. By the 1920s, the motor car had become a highly sophisticated and efficient form of transport. But even so, by this time, it was still more the plaything of the rich. By the 1930s, motorised transport had come more within the reach of the ordinary man in the street, and the small family car had reached a high level of efficiency. Commercial road traffic today, the motor car has become a way of life. The railways have over the years lost a great deal of their long-distance freight traffic to road haulage. By the mid-1950s, the situation had become acute on the roads. Heavy lorries in dense traffic streams on inadequate roads. This was the order of the day. And then came the men and the machines, the caravans, the wooden hut villages. The names of the various contractors became almost household words. They came to fashion and build for the future a system of roads undreamed of by our forefathers. The first attempt to build a road system in Britain for over 2,000 years. Gradually, the motorways began to take shape before our eyes. The motorway works brought with them inconvenience and delay to the users of the ordinary roads. Some of these signs presented us with the understatements of the year. Gradually, reason began to appear out of chaos. The bridges began to be completed. The surface was laid, and this scene was turned into this, the motorway as we know it today. Scenes such as this, so common but a few years ago, where the men and machines toiled to turn this scene into this. Gradually, the motorway web began to spread itself all over the country, being developed slowly but surely into a vast and efficient long-distance transport system. High-speed overland transport throughout the country. The London to Yorkshire motorway, the M1, one of the pioneer motorways of the country, stretching from London right up to Yorkshire, with links to the A1 route in the east and to the M6 route in the west, a formidable artery running through the heart of the land. Gradually, piece by piece, sections of the motorway were completed, like the links in a huge chain. Access points such as this require special skills in their design. To blend the motorway and its bridges into the natural beauty of the surrounding countryside. Services must be provided for the modern traveller, and so these service areas have to be built at regular intervals along the motorways. Commercial traffic can now travel swiftly on a clear road the length and breadth of the country. It is no longer impossible to expect a lorry load to arrive in Scotland the day it leaves London. A far cry from the pre-motorway days. A benefit of the motorways is that small villages like Markyate on the old A5 have been allowed to be villages once again. This narrow street once carried all the traffic which now uses the M1. People can now cross the main street in Markyate without fear for their lives. This is purely a benefit to long-distance travel. In local transport, the situation has hardly changed, except for the worst. Most of our great cities are now being strangled by the motor vehicle. Yearly the numbers rise. There seems to be no complete solution. This is the challenge of the future. Shall we be able to win this new battle? Or will our children and grandchildren say, this is our heritage?